Hi everyone, my name is Simon Mishevich from Optimised Accountants, and in this video we're going to be talking about the UK House Price Index report. And as you can see from the title, 285,000, not much movement actually from last month. But what does that say about the future? Well, let's have a look at the Office of National Statistics report for December 2023. And in that, it's reported average UK house prices decreased by 1.4%. in the 12 months to December 2023. So there has been a decrease. But what does that really mean for the future? As I say, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look terrible. If we look at this perspective, we are now going to be comparing more recent data. So you can see the trend from December 2007, or 2007, I should say. And here it says the average UK house price was £285,000, as we know, in December 2023, which was £4,000 lower than 12 months previous. So really, if we look back, we're not seeing a drastic change at all. But one thing I would say to you is that number now, what we're looking, if you look at the graph and then go back, you'd have to go back to December 2010 to get the kind of same number. So 2010. We haven't seen much of a house kind of shift in terms of percentages since that time. So realistically, we are looking at a pretty bad housing figure. Now, we also need to look at other data sources because we can't always rely on one data source. We have to look at a couple more. And we're going to look at the ONS. We said in December 2023 that the house price was £285,000. a decrease of 1.4%. Now, if we look at that same period for Halifax, they said in December that the house price was 287,000, not too different, but the house price increased by 1.7%. Why is that different? Because of the data set is different. But now they've reported that the average house price is 291,000, and if the ONS follows suit with Halifax, this would suggest that house prices are increasing, because they are quite tight-knit, I should say, between the ONS and the Halifax. So if that is Halifax's figure of January of 291,000, an increase of 2.5% year on year, does that mean the ONS will follow? Time will tell. I'm not suggesting that it's true, simply because we are now in recession and we're expecting that to hit quite hard on the housing, but there's often a lag of 6 to 9 months. So we may not see a downward trend significantly because of recession for some time. Nationwide, not seasonally adjusted, has said that the house price in December 2023 was 257,443, a decrease of 1.8%. The decrease of percentage is following what the ONS have suggested. Now, in January 2024, they said that house price is 257,656, which actually is an improvement from December 2023. But the house annual price, annually looking at it, is minus 0.2%. So it's not as bad as what it was previous months. And that's pretty much what the ONS has said about December compared to November. So we're getting quite close now year on year. Does that mean we're going to see a spike? Certainly not. We are coming to a new election. We are certainly now in recession. So these factors are going to hurt, but it will take time before house prices go back down again. That is my suspicion. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I would tell you honestly what the house price would be in 6 to 9 months. But I don't see it being a 35% drop like many people have reported in the past. They used to say that 35% drop would happen in September 2023. That didn't happen, nowhere near. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon either. If we look at the ONS regional price index, we can see that England has dropped annually by 2.1%. That's quite an interesting factor when you look at Northern Ireland, that's seen an increased annual price change of 1.4%. Scotland has seen an annual price increase of 3.3%. That's startling. Wales, 2.5% down. What's really interesting is the monthly change. If you look at England house prices have gone up by 0.2% in the month. That's really interesting. Why? We're in the recession. We have a lot of factors. A lot of reporters are saying that house prices are going down. Interest rates are high. Everything is suggesting that house prices should go down. And yet, 0.2% increase. It's not saying house prices gone up by 10, 20%. It's nothing to be excitable about increasing. What I'm saying is, why isn't it not decreasing as significantly as what other people said? And my belief is that people are just staying put in their homes. They're not looking to sell because the interest rates are too high. So why sell your home with a good interest rate mortgage and then buy another home which has got an interest rate that's even higher? It doesn't make sense. Okay, so here I wanted to have a look at more specific areas in England. And if we look at the best and worst areas, so annual percentage I'm looking at here, I'm looking at Southeast minus 4.6%, London minus 4.8%. They are significant drops in house values. And yet some of the areas that are doing better, I'm not saying brilliant, but if you look at the Northwest, 1.2% increase. That's fairly good actually. East Midlands, a drop of 1%, Northeast, a drop of 0.8%. Nothing to worry about at this point in time. So if you're looking for a purchase of home, is it now a good time to buy? I'm not really convinced, but this is a telling factor of which areas may be faring better than others. Other key financial indicators. We know that the recession is now hit the UK. We are here. Now, the other factors we need to think about here is the CPIH, which is the inflation number. And that hasn't really changed from 4.2%. If we recall, interest rate was put up to 5.25% to help reduce inflation. But inflation hasn't really changed from November. So what needs to give? The government will want to see that inflation number hit at 2%. We're in the recession. Will that bring inflation? The problem here, and I feel that the government are clueless when it comes to this, is understanding that forcing the country into recession by putting up interest rates does nothing for inflation. Why? Because we're talking about the basics of fuel, heating your home. Putting us into a recession isn't going to change inflation of getting your energy from places like Russia. It simply isn't. So clueless is the argument I make about the policies that the government are making, pushing us into a worse position than we need to be without really understanding this has got nothing to do with putting the interest rates higher to bring inflation down. I don't believe that has any impact at all. It just affects other commodities. But actually the fundamentals of your food and looking at your heating bills, that is what's going to go in. Interest rates will do nothing at all. Unemployment, in terms of 3.8%, we are going to see that increase. It wasn't reported for January, December, November or October, previous months. But in February, they reported 3.8%, which is down from 4.3%. But don't read too much into that. We are now into recession. That will go up to 4.5%, if not 5%. And that is when we're going to see hardship even more than what we are now. And people may have to sell their homes cheaper than what they would ideally like, just to have some money to pay for fuel in a rented accommodation, if that's what they choose to do, or buy a cheaper home for their family. What do you think? Please do put in your comments. I'm not feeling positive about the housing market. Are you? It would be great to see what you have to say, especially in your specific area.